Hello and welcome. I'm Junko, and thank you for joining us for today's virtual Eitaikyo service. Eitaikyo is a tradition that started in Japan's Edo period hundreds of years ago. Literally, it means perpetually chanting Buddhist sutras, and it has become an annual service at our temple. Our lives are created by many causes and conditions, such as our environment, education, nature, and society. Probably the most meaningful connection we have is to our family and friends, especially those people who have lived before us, such as our parents and grandparents. Without them, we would not exist. Eitaikyo is a memorial service which honors those people and helps remind us of our connection to them. By thinking of these connections, we can see our lives as part of our greater whole rather than standing alone. Thus, we feel a sense of gratitude and appreciation for those lives. For today's service, we will have a sutra chanting led by Reverend Dr. David Pating, followed by a Dharma talk by Reverend Blayne Higa of Kona Hongwanji Temple. And a Gatha followed, and a following Gatha titled In a Quiet Valley, and closing words by Doug Dorn. But first, we will begin with the group reading. Please join me in reciting the three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not realize the truth in this life, when will it be realized? Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we absorb ourselves in the principle of the way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves the supreme will. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we be submerged in the depths of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we live in harmony in the great assembly as disciples of Buddha and be freed from all hindrances, becoming units of true accord in the life of harmony in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriad ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent and profound and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teachings. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm David Pating with the Buddhist Church of San Francisco. I'll be leading us in Sutra chanting today. Today we'll be chanting Sambujo, followed by a short aspiration, and Sanbutsuge, from the larger sutra, the Sutra of Dharmakara, praising Lokesvara Vajraja. So please join me quickly in Gassho. We'll get started. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu. Again, today is our Eitaikyo service. Please join me with Sambujo, the three respectful callings. Bujo, Mida Nyorai, Niudojo, Sange Raku. We call upon the Tathagata Amida Buddha to enter our homes as we joyfully scatter flowers of welcome. Bujo, Shaka Nyorai, Niudojo, Sange Raku. We respectfully call upon Tathagata Shakyamuni to enter our homes as we joyfully scatter flowers of welcome. Bujo, Jippo Nyorai, Niu Dojo, Sangeraku. We respectfully call upon the Tathagatas of the 10 directions to enter our homes as we joyfully scatter flowers of welcome. Today, on this Sunday service, the members of the Buddhist Church of San Francisco are gathered here today to celebrate this year's annual Eitaikyo Perpetual Memorial Service in honor of the many of those founding members and legacy members who have come before us. In their name, we recite the three treasures. Namo Kie Butsu, I take refuge in the Buddha. Namo Kie Ho, I take refuge in the Dharma. Namo Kie So, I take refuge in the Sangha. Namo Amida Butsu, 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 Namo Amida Butsu. Please join me in reciting Sanbutsuge. Busetsu Muryo Jukyo Sanbutsuge Kogen Gigi Ijin Mugoku Nyozen Yomu Yotosha Nichigan Mani Shoko Enyo Kaishin Non Beyu Nyaku Jumok Nyorai Yogen Chose Murin Shogaku Dayon Koru Jipo Kaimon Shojin Sanmai Jie Tokomuryo Shuchoke Jindai Zenden Shobut no Kai Gu Jin Jin no Koko Kai Tai Umyo Yokunu Se Son Yomu Nin no Shishi Din Togo Jojo Ukun Go Dai Jie Jin Myo Komyo Iso Shindo Dai Sen Ganga Sabut Zai Sho Kando Shoji Mi Fugedan Usejoi Kainin Jojin Yosei Sanmai Chie Yosei Tokubon Sojo Shigan Isai Kuku Isa Dayan Keshi Ubun Yakusen Nokuman Nyoryo Gaisho Shogyu Kaucha Kuyo Isai Shoto Shobun Yoku Godo Kensho Mugyaku Hinyo Koja Shobun Sekai Bufu Kage Mushu Sendo Komyo Shisho Henshi Shokoku Nyose Shojin Ijin Nanro Ryoga Sabun Koku no Daichi Goshu Kimyo Dojo Shozen Koku nyo Naion Nimu Toso Gato Aimin Godat Nisai Joipo Raisho Shinnen Shojo Ito ga koku koraku anno kobun shimyo zega shinjo ongan noi rikisho shoyoku jipo seson chie muge kyoryo shison shiga shingo kesho rinshu shuku tokushu kago mushuju ninju fuke Namandabu, 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 Namandabu. Ganishiku doku, Yodo Seisai. Dou hon bodai shin o jau an May this merit virtue be shared equally with all beings. May we together awaken the Bodhi mind and be born in the realm of serenity and joy. Namo Amida Butts, Namo Amida Butts, Namo Amida Butts, Naman Davits, Naman Davits, Naman Davits.
Aloha. Thank you to Elaine Sensei for inviting me to share with you today. As we observe Eitaikyo, we take time to remember the lives and the actions of those good teachers who have enabled us to encounter the Dharma and who have inspired us to live out the teachings in all that we do. Eitaikyo means the perpetual chanting of sutras. The word sutra means thread, and it is what connects us to the truth found in the Buddha's teachings. Buddhism began as an oral tradition, with the teachings having been passed down through the ages through memorized chanting. The act of chanting connects us to all those who have come before and to all those who will follow as we chant the very same sutras. While these rituals are an important part of our tradition, which helps us to perpetuate the teachings, the Dharma is most meaningfully transmitted through our living the teachings in our everyday lives. The Dharma is shared from mind to mind and from heart to heart. It is because of our familial and spiritual ancestors that we are able to hear the teachings today. And it is our responsibility to share these life-giving teachings with others. I'm grateful for the many teachers in my life who have been good spiritual friends along this journey. If we attune our lives to truly hearing the calling voice of Amida Buddha, we can live with a profound appreciation for the many Dharma teachers we encounter each and every day. And these Nembutsu moments are what lead us to self-discovery and to the world of awakening. The Buddha empowers us to tap into our intelligence and wisdom, guided by the light of the Dharma. This is why Shinran Shonin believed it was so rare to encounter a good teacher, and even more difficult to discern a good teaching. He shares the following verse from the hymns of the Pure Land. He says, "It is difficult to meet true teachers, and difficult for them to instruct. It is difficult to hear the teaching well, and more difficult still to accept it." This is why Shinran was so grateful to receive the Nembutsu teaching from his master, Honen Shonin, and accepted it only after he thoroughly tested how it worked within his own life. This is the deep and profound faith that arose in Shinran's life through the working of the Dharma. It was only through the power of the Nembutsu that Shinran was able to meet with his true self that comes from the Pure Land. Above all else, a good teacher demonstrates leadership through their actions. Over the past several months, our nation has lost two champions of justice and equality. The passing of Congressman John Lewis and Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg have been occasions to reflect on the nature of leadership and what it means to serve others. Throughout their lives, these courageous individuals faced tremendous challenges, yet put aside self-interest and demonstrated by their actions a nobility of spirit that was far greater than themselves. They understood that true leadership was about service to and concern for the welfare of others. Justice Ginsburg believed that her legacy was to make life a little better for people less fortunate than you. That's what I think a meaningful life is. One lives not just for oneself, but for one's community. Congressman Lewis echoed similar thoughts by saying, "Freedom is not a state, it is an act. It is not some enchanted garden perched high on a distant plateau where we can finally sit down and rest. Freedom is the continuous action we all must take, and each generation must do its part to create an even more fair, more just society." They believed that one's conduct matters, and it is what determines our collective future. However, it seems like the kind of leadership that both Congressman Lewis and Justice Ginsburg demonstrated throughout their long lives is in short supply these days. We have leaders today who are self-serving and lack genuine concern for the people in their care or for our collective welfare. This lack of leadership has resulted in over 218,000 deaths to COVID-19 and has inflamed racial tensions and civil unrest within our society. Shakyamuni Buddha taught at length about the radical equality of all people and criticized the arbitrary nature of class and status. He taught that nobility was not a matter of one's birth, but rather a matter of one's actions. In the Sutta Nipata, the Buddha says, "One is not a Brahmin by birth, nor by birth a non-Brahmin. By action one becomes a Brahmin. By action one becomes a non-Brahmin. One becomes a farmer by action. By action one becomes a craftsman. One becomes a merchant by action. By action, one becomes a servant. One becomes a thief by action. By action, one becomes a soldier. One becomes a priest by action. By action, one becomes a king. The Buddha understood that true leadership is based on one's actions and conduct. A true leader avoids the unwholesome and does what is wholesome in ensuring the welfare of those within their care. A true leader demonstrates nobility by shutting up and listening. A true leader deeply hears the pain of others and works to relieve their suffering. A true leader relies on the advice of wise counsel and makes decisions based on facts. A true leader speaks honestly with a mind of loving kindness. A true leader offers protection, shelter, and safety equally to all people. A true leader loses themselves in service to others. As Shakyamuni Buddha neared the end of his life, his disciples feared they would be lost without his leadership to guide them along the path. They worried that the loss of this great teacher would lead to the end of their revolutionary movement. However, in his last moments, the Buddha shared the following teaching. My disciples, my last moment has come, but do not forget that death is only the end of the physical body. The body was born from parents and was nourished by food. Just as inevitable are sickness and death. But the true Buddha is not a human body. It is enlightenment. A human body must die, but the wisdom of enlightenment will exist forever in the truth of the Dharma and in the practice of the Dharma. He who sees merely my body does not truly see me. Only he who accepts my teaching truly sees me. After my death, the Dharma shall be your teacher. Follow the Dharma, and you will be true to me. The Buddha reminds us that the teachings are grounded in the very soil of our lives, that the living Dharma is found in what we think, in what we say, and in what we do. That it is in the daily practice of the Dharma where the Buddha and our many good teachers truly live. Their noble actions serve as an example for us to embody and to manifest in our lives, thereby transmitting the teachings to others. This is the spirit of Eitaikyo, of perpetually chanting the sutras. Our altars reflects this teaching of nobility through one's actions. Have you ever noticed the pair of hanging ornaments flanking the image of Amida Buddha? These ornaments are called sumi yoraku, and they are derived from jewelry worn around the neck and body of nobles in ancient India. The pair of yoraku, which hang from the corners of the central altar, represents the attainment of nobility through noble deeds. Eitaikyo is an opportunity for us to express reverence for the lives and actions of the good teachers who have led us along our journey. As we consider these qualities of leadership, we should reflect on our actions and the actions of our current leaders. Both Justice Ginsburg and Congressman Lewis had humble beginnings, but became true leaders through their noble actions. Their values and what they strive to achieve lives on. Can we demonstrate the same sense of nobility in our own lives and hold our leaders to the same standard? We have an opportunity to do so every time we exercise our right to vote. This is how we should evaluate good leadership based on the Buddha's teachings. Thank you again for having me. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Nammanda Butsu, Nammanda Butsu, Nammanda Butsu.
because the Buddha's name arises from the body of true reality and fulfillment, because it arises from the ocean of compassion, because it arises from the ocean of the vow, because it arises from the ocean of the Dharma gates. Simply to say the name of the one Buddha wholeheartedly is itself to say the names of all Buddhas, because it embodies the immeasurable virtues. It eradicates the obstruction of our karmic evil and enables us to be born into the Pure Land. Why should there be any doubt? Hi, it's Doug Dorn. Some announcements. The Buddhist Church Book Club, an ongoing and open dialogue, continues on Fridays via Zoom. You don't even have to read the books, and there's no assigned reading. Though Why Buddhism is True, the text, Why Buddhism is True, was used as a starting off point. The next book is Awareness of Self by Reverend Higa. Also, the Mindful Meditation workshop continues on Wednesday evenings, also via Zoom. Call or email the office for details. While the office is closed during COVID, messages are checked and responded to on a regular basis. More upcoming events include an October 29th bento fundraiser. Call the office, 776-3158, for great food, great prices, and enabling BCSF to continue during these tumultuous times. Another event on Sunday, November 8th, 2020 at 11, there'll be a general membership meeting via Zoom to discuss many of the new and ongoing matters facing the temple. Call the office, 776-3158, for info. And if you're not totally inundated with election stuff these days, wait, there's more. Yes, the Buddhist Church Board of Directors elections are upon us. Interested parties can contact the nominations committee through the church office. Now, some special thanks to some of the people who made and contributed to this October 18th, 2020 Eitaikyo Service. Special thanks to Junko for her opening welcoming address, to our own Reverend David Pading for leading the sutras, to Reverend Blayne Higa for his Dharma talk, to the technical crew, Kevin Yoza, for producing these online services. But especially thanks to you, to our Sangha, for staying connected and engaged, and for taking care of ourselves and of each other during this time when we're all apart physically, but not spiritually. We miss each other, and we hope you're all doing well. Thank you for joining in today's virtual Eitaikyo service. Please take care, stay safe, and we are all looking forward to seeing each other again. Please join me in recitation of the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. This concludes today's service. Thank you.